Here.
Here.
Foster,
Present?
John,
Hello.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary.
Here.
There's a card going around for everyone to sign for 52. You have it. So please do that before the end.
Thank you for remembering that.
Did we get through the whole roll call?
Yep.
It's quicker than I thought. I have no voice, or limited voice. So we have some October unapproved minutes. Looks like most of us were here for them. Take a quick look at them and entertain a motion to approve them or make any changes. Take a quick scan back at them.
Motion to approve.
Entertain a second if anybody,
I'll second that.
okay. Does anybody have any comments, updates, or anything that they would like to have on record for those minutes? Like everything else, we'll take a vote. I guess we could just do all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. They usually aren't a problem, are they? So we'll consider those minutes approved, and of course, we do have a guest, and Mike, you're here just to enjoy and visit, or do you have anything that you wanted to address today? Okay.
Thank you.
And unless any of our founders of Big Rapids have anything to say, I think we can, seeing them on the walls, probably move on. So we got 3 items of business in our communications, and see we got pools, porta-johns, and the depot park, and skate park.
And a quick note, it's not on the agenda, but was asked to share with you guys the naming and fundraising information that was presented to you at the last meeting. Heather wants to be there to discuss that with you guys, so if you have not still had a chance to take a look at it, review it, and come up with any suggestions to that, please take the time to do so and bring those suggestions or send those suggestions so that we can go over them for the January meeting, since we do not meet together. So pool renovations. The commission met on Monday, and we've been talking about pursuing a RAP grant for $500,000 with a match of $500,000 to do work down at the community pool. The Mars site itself is roughly $250,000 to do. ADA upgrades or universal usage of the pool is also another $250,000. So they're trying to figure out and decide if we have enough work and enough time to create a project, do a project for a submission for this grant on January 30th. That will hit the $1 million project essentially. And so we added a pool discussion today. We were talking about different ideas, trying to determine whether we turn that facility or at least half of that facility into kind of a Four Seasons space so that it could be rented out or utilized by different programs, whether they're from the library or the recreation department. Also, what can we do that's a little bit placemaking? Do we turn the garage into bathrooms? So that's kind of like your trailhead spot for the Clay Cliffs area. So they would be Four Seasons bathrooms, not just also winterized like the pool. Universal usage and ADA compliance, looking into adult changing stations, as well as having a family locker room, what that looks like within that facility. And so we ended up going down to the pool today, a number of us, including the mayor, and definitely saw, for some, it was not a first time, but a reminder of the amount of work that really could be done at that pool. So we could absolutely in $1 million project. The concern almost turned into, holy crap, this could be a $2 or $3 million project. And that's not to say that you couldn't ask for more from that rep grant. It's a $500,000 minimum, not a max. So between now and I believe it's December 2nd, we're working on fine tuning what it is that we would like to see as a part of that project. You know, and we'd love to hear your guys' input as well. Between now and then, it doesn't have to be right now, but things that you'd like to see done down there, and we're going to hopefully pursue that grant and do a project and begin fundraising soon. And I had a conversation with Tyler Schubert today. He's very excited about the idea and would love to be involved in the fundraising process as well. I know there are a number of people in this community that have strong ties to the community pool, one of which is sitting directly behind me, who would love to see this take place. And I think there's possibly more people than we realize that have attachments to that pool that would love to be involved in seeing this project take place. So we're hoping to pursue it. And the big thing is, obviously, we have some conversation, answer any questions, and if you have any suggestions too of maybe what you'd like to see. But tonight, what I need with that, about that conversation is if you guys agree, a recommendation to the city commission to pursue or continue to pursue that grant for that project.
So for clarification, I know I read the Pioneer, and it sounded like the city commission was basically saying, hold off, don't submit a RAP grant right now based off of what they had, or they wanted continued discussion.
Continued discussion, and that's what's going to take place on December 2nd. They wanted to see more specific numbers. They wanted to see exactly what we have out for other grants and projects right now specifically. What do we still have available? We want to make sure that we're still being fiscally responsible. And then also understanding exactly what this project could cost. And that was part of the going down to the pool today, was getting their minds around what all actually can and does need to be done outside of MARSite and ADA compliance. That building really has not been touched since it was installed in 1974 and really could use a lot of love and updating. So as soon as they saw it, it almost turned into a, holy cow, do we start knocking some walls and replacing where things are and put things in different places now and make it even more user friendly? Do we keep the same framework? You know, how in depth do we go with a remodel down here, or do we keep the frame and just just update everything to the max that we can with what we have here? So those are some of the things we're fine tuning for the December 2nd and we're working with Fleece and Vandenbrink on that process so that he can give us the most up-to-date numbers with what we're coming out with, so that when the commission meets on December 2nd, they have the numbers based on, or the financial numbers of what we have to work with, as well as what the project could cost to help make those decisions.
So you didn't hear a lack of support, you heard get us more,
Questions.
more information.
Yep,
And
just questions.
maybe revise our,
Yep, and a couple of community members there also, though, very much in support of do this, we need to do this. And I anticipate that on December 2nd, there will be more at that meeting,
Okay.
also saying the same things. You guys are invited and encouraged to come to that meeting as well and hear more, share more, whatever that may look like.
Trina, would it be a pain for you to send us an email reminder to attend that? I'd really appreciate it. It makes it so much easier for me to keep my schedule going when I get emails.
If anything, we may do another reminder just also for that meeting in January, just refresher. Naming fundraising ideas, remember, think that through, get some ideas, bring those with or send them on if you have them, if you can't make the meeting, so.
Do we have any public comment on the pool renovations?
I was quite excited to hear. I mean, when we know that money has to go in that pool. It's not a something that we just kind of wish for. The need is definitely there. And I went to Michelle after the meeting and I said, we already know it's gonna be big money. How can we turn it down when we're going to double money? Because we're already going to have to put into it. But I think it's a super idea, and that pool of anything saves lives. And we don't know how many. I know my daughter wouldn't have drowned. I know another couple's daughter that got in a situation in the water, not here in town, but had she not had her swimming lessons, she wouldn't be here today, according to mom and dad there. We just don't know, but I would be all for.
Do you have any vision or wishes beyond the repairs?
No, I think first get the pool repaired so that as much as, we can, maybe you can do, I don't know if this 250 is just for part of it or not, but.
That's for patchwork in the shallow end that needs to take place, and then for the entire deep end to be re-marcited.
Okay.
The shallow end was otherwise done
That
in
would
2020.
be for the whole,
It would fix the whole of the pool at that time.
I think
But
we,
there's potential of 500,000 extra, right, in a grant?
Right. Yeah, so we as the city would have to spend roughly $500,000 just for Marcite and or ADA compliance items.
And
And
so,
so
Yes.
on top of
That's
that,
a win-win.
500,000 from the grant can go towards other projects. Whether it's, like I said, the garage, turning that into bathrooms, facilities, adding a slide to the deck so that there's more activity going on at the pool as well. We went to Adrian and their pool is a mirror image of ours, built the same year as ours as well. They've got a couple of water slides. They removed their diving boards, but they also didn't take the opportunity to put them up to code like we have. So we have to dive across the slope instead of into a slope. They just decided, well, we're not gonna move them off to the side, we'll just take them out. But very, very similar and dealing with very similar things that we are when it comes to whether it's a liner or Marcite. Really, even after talking to them, it was determined that the Marcite is still the best route to go. So it's the other projects to make it placemaking, maybe year-round usage.
I was interested in that year-end use because my wife was from here, and that's why we ended up moving back here after we retired. And when she took me up here many years ago, the first place we went was Clay Cliffs.
Yes.
That's where she spent all her time, as a kid. They always were there. So doing something where it could be something for year-round too, I don't see what, I think that's a great benefit. That's a wonderful area to go trouncing around.
You've been out there a lot. How's the concrete pad that surrounds the pool? Is that at all to a point where you feel like there's money that needs to be spent into that?
I don't know that there's necessarily money that needs to be spent, but I think it's something that we probably are gonna wanna pay attention to in the long run. Things settle, earth shifts, just making sure that it's all still, there's some spots that we could go and grind down some edges and it's then still flush and level, but I think in the long run, you're gonna still see some shifting. That will, again, probably wanna pay attention to, but I don't think that's anything pressing at this time at all.
It's been a while since I've been at the pool, but is there seating?
That would probably be something that would fall into this, it would be
tables.
getting more deck
Could it
chairs
use more space, even the hangout space,
in the lobby.
within the fenced-in area, surrounding the pool, or is that plenty big?
I think it's plenty big, I think it's needing more seating within that space though. having more deck chairs available or replacing
Yeah.
ones that have been damaged over the years. Just having more seating available to people. I mean, it's to a point where, especially on our busy days, a lot of people are actually just bringing their own camp
And
chairs.
like umbrellas,
Mhm.
like sun coverage, stuff like that.
Yeah, and there may be an opportunity to do that, to add some more sun coverage, aside from the pergolas or pavilions,
I
whatever
feel
you
like
wanna call
there are a
those.
lot of trees around anyway, but
In one side and one corner specifically, it can get decently shaded, but the rest of that deck is
It's pretty-
exceptionally exposed.
yeah, so I mean,
It's pretty hot.
that
Mhm.
would be,
So you got, sounds like you got a group of people that are interested in supporting it. Obviously, there's lots of questions.
I remember when I was very young and my parents lived in Kentucky and we went to the pool there, that there was a concession bar that you could access from in, like, once you had already changed into your swimsuit.
So like deck side,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
It might help, like, not that I think that it's bringing in a lot of money, but you might just see more sales that
Sure, and we could.
allow you to have a bigger supply or more consistent supply.
We're getting into stir safe.
I know.
The biggest reason that they don't do that, because we do have that capacity to do so right now,
Yeah.
is avoiding having food and other beverages other than water on the pool deck, so that it's not getting into the water, the gutters, or just
That's what I
becoming a
suspected.
filthy mess. And to be fair, honestly, while that stuff was not allowed on the deck this last year, we still found people's garbage, dirty diapers, and all sorts on the deck at the end of the pool day when we picked things up. So we're a little reluctant to start letting them take extra things out there like that, but,
I
and
mean,
it happens as it is, so.
I love the idea of another indoor facility that could be, if the facility can handle it, could be used for more months of the year. It does seem like a city's invested in a beautiful little building that gets 3 months of use and, 8, 9 months of sitting. But again, that would be looking at it, seeing, is it ready, is it winter ready enough to have a place where people could come, go snowshoeing, sit down, do that. Or, because a lot of us like it, use that in the winter.
Yep, so the idea would be that from essentially where the locker rooms are, there's doors there, you'd actually close those off and heat from those doors through the front lobby. So concessions would be there and available, and depending on if we're gonna do this, there may have to be a little bit more of almost a kitchen available for people to utilize. But bathrooms would be open and available to people in that space. And just basically, if you're thinking about having a birthday party, you've got a usable space for something like that. If you're gonna run a small recreation program or a library program, you've got space to be able to do those things, so.
I think one thing that's really underutilized with the current building is the windows and the scenery. So we have like the beautiful creek that's very adjacent, and we have like this dramatic hillside that's very adjacent. But we don't have like a big beautiful window that like showcases that natural beauty in the lobby area.
We have 3 large windows.
I mean, it's been a while since I've been there, but
Sure.
I'm thinking like, if people are using it like 4 seasons, right? Like encouraging and like highlighting as much as we can of, I don't know, whatever stuff, I can't cardinally orient myself.
I'm just
that
saying
well.
like more like outdoor fireplace type gathering and snowshoeing or some like hiking up,
Yeah.
if we're talking winter, like
There was another
heating,
idea.
outdoor heating lamps.
There was another
and,
idea
you
where
know,
bathrooms, instead of going in that garage, would actually be an outdoor access to the bathrooms that are in the building already, that would be able to be still used year-round. Probably closed off during the day on a regular basis, so you don't just have an access to get in, but, at that point, you could use them after hours, but everything inside is locked off, or it's sectioned off separately from the building. But anyway, that way you still get your bathrooms that you're looking at for a trailhead spot or just having bathrooms in that space. And where that garage is, actually leveling that and turning that into kind of the space you're describing, that maybe there's a warming station, maybe there's some seating and other things in that space because it's up out of the floodplain, whereas down to that pavilion, you're in the floodplain. So you wouldn't wanna put something like that down there.
Have we, has Big Rapids looked at adding, adjacent to the pool or attached to the pool, a great big, maybe in one of the corners, a great big hot tub?
No.
Love that idea.
Like many
Love it.
swimming pools across America have.
Josh will probably have lots of stories and reasons why that's a no.
Topic hasn't come up.
I don't understand.
I don't.
Hot tubs are disgusting.
It's true.
It's
It's
the
true.
biggest reason there are a lot of maintenance, there are a lot of upkeep because they are very disgusting.
In a
And
public.
to be fair, they also become a different type of safety hazard.
I didn't know that.
A public one's probably worse.
Many.
Yeah, they do. A lot of people do. Like Ferris has one. West Shore Community College has a hot tub also nearby. And in working in both of those facilities, I know that they're very disgusting and a lot of work and maintenance. So,
A 5,000 unit Casa Grande, Arizona
You're better off getting
pool
one at your house.
has a great big hot tub attached to its pool.
personal hot tub is
It dumps
definitely a lot better.
into
Yeah.
the pool.
Until you pull somebody's
That's your
diaper
own
out.
personal
Your
growth.
jacuzzi tub, really, at the end of the day.
Like, I wasn't aware of that kind of behavior from Americans.
So, sounds like we're probably ready to be able to make a motion, but specifically, would you need it to have any dollar amount or just be that we support the commission pursuing it to whatever
For
amount they want?
upgrades and everything that, you don't have to say it because it'll be in the minutes, everything that we discussed as a part of this project. But,
Okay.
yep, just a recommendation that you support pursuing that grant for that purpose.
I mean, I would highly recommend that.
Okay.
My number one wish list for the community pool, which I've voiced many times, is a roof. I mean, if we're gonna dream big and to speak to the safety issue that I think is like the number one best asset of the pool, is that if there was a roof over it that enabled the pool to be used all year round, then it would be possible to have swimming lessons as a mandatory class at some point in the elementary school curriculum so that all kids were guaranteed at least a minimum ability to swim. Is there public comment on this?
That's cool, Foster. I like
If
that.
I remember right, Josh, you'll know. They did a study years back on putting a roof over that. And they said that it couldn't be done.
Well, with enough money, anything's possible.
Due to the structure, do you remember anything?
From what I recall from that report is, as is wouldn't work. It would take that much more money in order to make it a feasible project. And that number was more than like 5 million. So
And then it didn't have the foundation. Was that part of it too?
I think it might have been, yeah.
To put a roof.
But, you know, it's like technologies change, approaches change.
It's the price tag, that's the
Yeah,
big
materials
pushing
change.
that off,
So,
so.
I mean, I know it's like a big project, but I'm never gonna stop wishing for it.
Oh, of course.
I just really think that anything that's gonna update Big Rapids, make it more attractive and fun to come to and updated is a great idea. That's my personal opinion, and we should put the money into it. And get the most out of what we can get. So that's my opinion.
So do we hear a motion from you maybe?
Yeah, that's definitely a motion.
I'd like to move that we recommend the commission, apply for the maximum grant within Big Rapids' capacity to match, while being fiscally responsible.
Sounds good. A second?
Any discussion, or should we go for a vote?
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No doubt about that, right?
Right.
I guess I'm the only one that wants a disgusting hot tub.
Give me a call, you can come over here, I got my disgusting hot tub. Thank you for all that, John, that's Josh.
That brings up the Porta Johns.
Hey, let's go to Porta Johns.
Trina, I think, has this report for us.
There'll just be, Porta Johns left out for the winter at the dog park and, the two usual ones at North End Park.
But I can tell you that any project that is coming up now, bathrooms are attached to it pretty much. The conversation is there with every project that we're doing. That's the reason with the pool, whether it's the garage or having an outdoor access, it's part of the conversation, so. Porta Johns, just in the long run too, are just so costly that it makes more sense to make it a part of a project if you can.
I've been enjoying seeing the progress at North End on
Yeah.
the restrooms, which I mean, there's not a lot, but I've been noticing like every week in my disc golf league that a little more, a little more, a little more.
I have a question.
The skate park is going nicely also.
Big Rapids is paying for the Riverwalk part, the replacements where they're replacing the spots, the asphalt with the concrete.
I believe so.
And there's no, because, you know, you bring those concrete trucks in and they're tearing up the asphalt that's still there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I noticed, you know, a couple of them when I was walking just the other day, when they passed the one spot, a long line of the asphalt's basically broken away off the side now, so I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, they'll be doing restoration after the fact to make sure that that's all fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's great that the patches are going in where they
Right.
were. That freaked me out when I'm walking, I'm seeing this cement truck coming down behind me, and it's like, I'm wondering, okay.
Depot Park and, to be fair, Skate Park, both underway. Depot Park, the paving should be completed here very soon. At least the paving was agreed upon is everything in front of the building. Kind of, we're feeling a little optimistic in saying it might be the whole thing, but we're going and counting on anything in front of that building is going to be paved. The rest of the project then should be done by midpoint next year. So, skate park, that's all been going great. They laid the cement, they did the cement work that they needed to, and then the ramp company is gonna be coming in the spring. And everything should be completed very soon after that as well. So everything seems to be going pretty well with those projects.
Awesome.
Are we looking at, another septic field, or what kind of bathrooms
For
are
the,
going to be at the skate park?
for the skate park, that project happening before the bathroom conversation, I'm not totally sure. That might still be a Porta Johns for now conversation, and then eventually down the line.
Like Fourth Street Park began with Porta Johns.
Could very well be that, yep.
I was gonna say, I don't remember any Porta Johns ever, when you guys came to us with the design elements, it just.
No, I think there's just a Porta John there right now during the summer, right? Yep, and so that'll probably continue to be the case until down the line it becomes its own project. Not too dissimilar with North End replacing those Porta Johns with bathrooms. So I don't know, I don't have a timeline on that. There's actually, to my knowledge, not been any conversation about it recently. But again, knowing that that's a project that's being undertaken, it could very well change in the future, so.
Now, there will not be hockey this
No ice rink.
winter?
Yeah, right. No ice rink this winter. Yep.
Got it.
Yep, the last one was too damaged after the poor season that we had, and we decided that we were gonna take a season and figure out whether it was worth doing, and the winters just don't support it right now. We're not getting a long enough or a cold enough winter to actually support having an outdoor rink like that is weather dependent. Also really love the idea of putting it back on Hemlock Park's outfield on top of the irrigation, so then it's kind of finding a new location as well, and so there's not been a huge push to, yeah, let's do this again. So right now, it's just not something that we're doing.
I wonder how nice, I know that like the island in the parking lot at North End, like dips pretty significantly toward like a drain. That would be a pretty large area that, I mean, it's already ready to drain. Just gonna throw that out there as like a possible location for the future.
Yeah.
It's nice too because there's
We would make sure we
parking
put some walls.
all the way around it, yeah.
Definitely would have to do walls instead of just what we've had recently, because if anybody goes and plays hockey, someone goes in the window.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, the
Who,
soccer fields at,
A rotary?
what's like a rotary baseball park. The soccer fields
Industrial park is that one.
is wonderful as well.
Mhm.
Hockey, in my opinion.
who owns the lot on the river across the street from the skate park?
We do, city.
So the city does own that.
Yeah, are we talking the Hanchett or are we talking down like next to the river? Are we just talking the big empty lot?
On the river, but on Northland Drive.
Yeah, okay, so that's the Hanchett property. Yep.
Big Rapids doesn't want to develop.
We're working on finding a developer to do that. We don't just develop on it, so we're working with finding a developer to do it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, the idea is just
Yeah.
keep going there, so.
There's some restrictions too as to what you can even put there, simply because it was a factory, and so some of the soil testings came back with, well, now you're restricted because of this. But they're working on it, yeah.
Fair.
I'm sorry to backtrack to the pool, but do we know are saunas less gross than hot tubs? This is for you, John.
Right there on the.
Sauna.
I mean, it would be something that would be nice in the winter, you know, you could go for a cold hike and then sit in the sauna, or the other way around.
Just go for
They go first and go out in the
Maintain
cold.
that thing. Who's gonna maintain that?
All right.
John will volunteer if there's a hot tub.
If there's.
Well, that's, I think, all the updates that I have for you guys. Are there any questions or?
I just have the one comment that, so we have a good idea now where we'll see winter available, you know, bathrooms, which basically is gonna be the dog park in North End, cause I'm guessing that unless the ones at, Mitchell Park are open in the winter.
The permanent, I think those get winterized.
You're right, then just trying to make a mental note of what parks may have winter use and whether or not they have outhouses, so just trying to kind of make sure that we continue to keep an eye on which parks are being used in the winter and don't have any access, so again, so that we can kind of better plan for that for the future.
Yeah, I see a possibility of, much increased, what's that snow skiing they do?
Cross-country skiing?
Yes, cross-country skiing.
If it snows and there's snow to ski.
We're gonna get a lot.
Yeah,
This
well, and
year.
that's the reason for the bathroom,
Better not be
park,
ice.
and why, again, for the pool even, going up into Clay Cliffs in the winter, if they're gonna go snowshoeing or anything like that, make sure we've got a bathroom there as well.
That's great.
Huh?
Has have any of your parks been, has anybody reached out to you asking for like either a single track bike or fat tire bike, you know, kind of trail in with any of the parks? Has that been ever anything that's been,
Nobody's called me.
no? Okay, well, if we're not getting the demand for it, then again, I'm not gonna, try to suggest that we go on that route. But Clay Cliffs, a few other places have the potential, but they do have it. Anytime you see that, there's maintenance, upkeep, and it changes the dynamic of that.
I do know they have some ideas for Clay Cliffs, including a handicap trail specifically, but then also some other ideas too, so.
As a kid, I used to mountain bike at Clay Cliffs.
Yeah.
And probably we biked past what was actually,
Trail.
yeah, well, I mean, what was public, I would
Yeah.
say. But, in recent years, when I've been out there, I would say 75% of the trails that we used to ride are just completely overgrown.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody getting much past you get to the tall cliff, and then there's like a little loop just beyond that kind of works its way around a little ravine and comes back down. I mean, that was like the appetizer, to the rest of the trails that were back there. And I know that the city acquired more property on that lot since I was a kid, but I certainly think that there was a lot of really beautiful scenery out there. Although I think that our longest loop then was just barely over a mile. We could hit almost all the trails on a mountain bike in like 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that it would be pretty limited as to how extensive you could build a mountain bike or bike trail. It was still like a great time.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I have nothing else for you.
So we don't have a Christmas meeting, that's kind of nice.
Correct.
But we have a snowy winter January meeting.
How are we gonna do Secret Santa if we never meet?
We're probably not gonna do this.
Wait, elephant?
Is it okay to adjourn?
Yeah.
All right, adjourn at 7:09. All of that.
Johnny, is this your second